watching anime since I was a zygote. And I don't think many people could say that. I was just in the womb, chilling.
Growing up Mexican, you never really see, your skin color, your body type, your anything on TV.
Yo! Hello and welcome to Geekery Gears' first ever podcast. Thank you for joining us. I couldn't ask for a better way to start off this monthly podcast than to talk about cosplay. And today we have a fantastic cosplayer with us, Ms. Becca Davila. Now I'm sure we've all read about or seen a lot of cosplay before, but today we're going to be talking about the different aspects of cosplay and what it provides in geek culture and the different ways that you can experience it. Becca is a local cosplayer here in Las Vegas. Not only is she amazing at what she does, but the amount of experience and work she's put into her cosplay is just phenomenal. So Becca, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Becca. I'm a 12th grader in high school. I'm about to graduate. I've been cosplaying for about 3 years now.
And who do you cosplay and what got you into cosplay?
I cosplay Juvia from Fairy Tail. I started getting into cosplay by just looking around the anime community and seeing conventions, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
So, when you started cosplaying, how long did that take you? Because I know a lot of people, they don't really think about how much time and effort goes into it. So how long did that take you just to get that set up in general?
Well, you have to save money, of course, and you have to plan out what you need. You need the wig, you need shoes, and you need all the materials, whether you're making it yourself or buying it. So it took me quite a while. I actually planned out my first convention, and I was like, I want to cosplay for this. So I took a few months beforehand and got everything I needed prepared.
And did you, how did you get your cosplay? Did you buy it, or?
I bought it online.
You bought it online? Do you prefer handmade or, bought cosplays?
I prefer bought only because I don't really know how to make them, but I'm actually attempting to start learning how to sew and make my own cosplay.
Because I know a lot of people say, there's this big thing about, whether or not, handmade cosplays are better, or if buying them is, cheating, quote-unquote. I just think that's personally weird. What do you think about things like that?
I think as long as you're having fun, it shouldn't really matter if you buy it or if you make it yourself. You're still putting effort into doing something you love and you enjoy, and it's going to make you and everyone around you happy.
So, what do you think your favorite thing about cosplaying is, or what your favorite part about going to conventions are?
I think the best thing is kind of getting recognition in a way. Because if you're that quiet person in school, you're that one who kind of hangs out in the corner, you're the nerdy one, whatever. You go to a convention and you're there and you're welcome into this society that's molded for people like you. And the best thing about it is you're accepted. It's like a home away from home. And you get pictures taken and people are like, oh, I wanted to take a picture with them, and they post it everywhere and they're happy that they met you.
That's really cool. I've seen you before at conventions, and you're always getting your picture taken, and it's really fun just to see that because, people do come up to you, and they're just like, I want to take a picture with you, and it's just a special experience, I think. When that does happen, do you have any stories, about, how that made you feel or anything like that? Is there any, thing in particular that you can pick out that made you feel yeah, that was awesome, or...
Yeah, recently at Otakon 2016, back in January, there was my friend and I, and she was looking at something, and I heard, oh my god, it's Juvia! And I was like, okay. So I turned around, and there was like these 3 little girls and a little boy, and they just loved Fairy Tail, and Juvia was their favorite character, and the little boy had a crush on Juvia. So he was hiding and a little shy and bashful when he saw me. And I asked them if they wanted to join the guild and stuff, and they literally made their entire day, and it made mine as well.
Is that that's just probably one of your favorite experiences so far with cosplay?
Yeah, that's probably my top favorite.
So that was a recent convention, and you were previously talking about you planned cosplay for your first convention. What was that like going there?
Oh, that was a rush of emotion, because usually in society, if you're the geek, you're not really welcomed in a way, unless you find other people like you, of course. But, I went to the convention, and I always thought, I'm alone, I'm just this geek with no one else to talk to about it, besides a few select people. So So then when I went to my first convention, I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And I had a terrible wig, but I was still happy. And I remembered actually meeting a voice actor, and I was actually crying, like legit tears. And I was running around, and it was like the happiest day of my life. And I think it was around my birthday as well. So it was like the best moment, and he kissed my cheek, and that just made my day. But it was nerve-wracking and just amazing all at the same time.
I think a lot of people can like compare that experience of just finding that community and people don't think about it either, I think, because when you're talking about anime, like people are just like, oh, it's some kind of I'm gonna say it, cartoon, quote unquote. That's out of context. Nobody stake me for that. But I think that's what a lot of people outside of the fandom talk about. And then, you know, for people who love anime, it means something totally different. And there's always that one series that just kind of gets to you. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I went to a convention, like my first one, same thing. Like I met Jerry Jewell and I like cried. Like I was so excited. I brought because my first manga I had ever gotten into was Fruits Basket, and I had him sign it. And I was like bawling. Like I wore a little cat hat. I was like, I just really love Kyo, and every time I see Kyo, though, for some reason, I think of Zatch Bell. Kyo! So yeah, I think people don't think about, like, cosplay is just this different way of, like, interacting with just geek community in general. It's not just anime. I mean, you go to San Diego's Comic-Con, and people are, like, losing it over cosplay, you know, and you see all sorts of things, and I think people don't think about it. I think, though, there is a downside to cosplay. Do you ever see, like, a lot of cosplay hate or stuff like that in the community, and have you ever experienced anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of, not a lot of it, but if you look, you know, you post pictures online, whatever, there's always, like, the few select who are like, oh, you don't fit the body type of this character, or, you know, you don't have the skin color of the character, or your gender doesn't match the character. But it makes no sense. But there is a lot of it, and I've experienced it a couple times, but not terribly. Usually I get a lot of acceptance, especially being a plus-size person.
So is that something that you really are big on, like, that you hope your cosplay has, hopefully, like, inspired other people, is body positivity in cosplay?
Yes, because I think we need more body positivity in this world, especially with situations that have happened with kids growing up that, you know, hate how they look. And cosplay is this, if anime communities are supposed to be really nice and welcoming, one of the nicest and most welcoming groups I've ever been a part of, then you should allow any type of person to be able to cosplay. Cosplay, you're supposed to have fun and be yourself, and as well as act as a character.
I completely agree with you with the body positivity. I hate the stereotype when people talk about conventions for anything really, when they're like, oh, you know, it's just this big, you know, fat dude. For some reason, it's always a dude in, like, a Batman costume or something like that. And I'm like, why do you say that? Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of criticism for women, but also men as well. Yeah. It's like, because that's a stereotype, is that only guys really watch anime or like video games or any kind of convention you go to. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important to remember that, like, anybody can cosplay. Do you mind if I ask, like, as a Latina cosplayer, because I know you just mentioned skin tone, and I've seen a lot of criticism for women who've cosplayed with hijabs or who've cosplayed with just accepting cultural heritage into their cosplay.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything, like, a lot of hate on that, or has that happened to you too, or has it mostly been body positivity?
It's mostly been body positivity, but I always kind of get insecure about being a Latina because, you know, growing up Mexican, you never really see, you know, your skin color, your body type, your anything on TV and in any media, of course, even, like, just anything, and it's kind of heartbreaking because you don't see it. So to be accepted as a person of color, as well as being bigger, it's very welcoming and nice, but I still do see hate of people telling, like, black women, you know, you can't do this, and it's like, why not? You know, like, you know, I don't want to say, like, white people can do it, but, like, white people get more accepted, even though, like, anime characters are mostly Japanese anyway, so.
Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, I don't think that there's, like, one way to, like, look at some of the characters who they have like purple hair
Yeah.
or purple eyes, and I'm like, they don't have an ethnicity. Like some of them, like Gate, people are like, oh, they're Japanese, and then the people on the other side of the gate aren't Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
Fairy Tale is in.
Fairy Tale's a fictional world.
I know, so
You have no races in that.
it's strange that people make this argument, but I mean, I'm glad to see that you're taking that into your cosplay and really showing that to people that, you know, you can do whatever you want regardless of what people are going to say is supposed to constrain or limit your experience. So with that in mind, what are your hopes for your cosplay career, like down the line? Do you have any new cosplays in mind, or is there something new that you want to add to it, or?
Well, I don't want to say be famous, but I do want to get myself out there to bring that body positivity out there. And I do have some new cosplays planning. I'm in the making of Diane from Seven Deadly Sins or Nanatsu no Taizai, which is going to be fun. And I'm also planning on doing Ruby Rose from Ruby, which would be really exciting.
With those criticisms that you've faced, like, what's something that always encourages you to keep cosplaying?
See, it's like anything, you know, you see like someone who's better sometimes and you're like, especially being a bigger person, you see someone who's like thinner or Jessica Negri, she's perfect, and you know, you get that discouraged because, you know, society doesn't like bigger women. It's a fact, and it's a sad fact, but it's a fact. So I just want to keep going and to spread that body positivity around everywhere to encourage those.
So you're your own encouragement, is that you know you're gonna get out there? Or
I would say, like, she's not even a cosplayer, but Tess Holiday just has been giving me a lot of confidence lately, being like one of the best plus size models and biggest inspirations to me. I mean, she's gorgeous, and I love her confidence. I love that she can wear whatever she wants, and she does not give a crap about what other people think about her.
I love Tess. She's been really popular lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that that's really interesting that that's your encouragement for, like, cosplay. She's just a model.
Yeah, she's a model.
But she has nothing to do with our culture, but yet that's, you know, she's a great inspiration to women all over the place. Because people forget, like, even if you're bigger, because I myself am plus size, and even if you're bigger, like, you still have a life. Like,
Yeah.
you still go out, you still do things, you still enjoy things, and I think Tess reminds people of that you can still be a human being, which is something we always seem to forget for some reason. So you cosplay Juvia, and I know you're a huge Fairy Tale fan. How huge of a Fairy Tale fan would you say you are?
Oh, God. One of the biggest, probably. Like, just, I know a lot about it. I know different magic. I know, like, even, like, the minorest of characters. And, like, a lot of people were like, I don't even remember that character. And I'm like, oh, I do. And
just for reference, she's wearing the little kiki right now. Like, she showed up, she was just like, I already got it covered, okay? I'm gonna show fandom I can do.
I wear this every day. Every single day.
Is this that anime that really just kind of got to you? That's the one that's just stuck?
Well, I would say that the reason I wear the Loki key is because he's my husband. I'm gonna throw that because my husband,
Bandu.
though. Whatever. I would just throw that out there. You know, like, #1 waifu for life or whatever. But I wouldn't say Fairy Tale's the one that stuck with me. I mean, it has, because I've made a lot of friends through Fairy Tale, like role-playing online, and as well as cosplay Juvia, which has been a big part of my life. But I would have to give credit to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is the very first anime I ever got into, which was only a couple years ago. I've not been an anime fan for, like, since birth, like most people have.
That's okay. You don't have to be. I always find it weird. They're like, well, how long have you been in anime?
I know.
I'm like, 5 years, and then they're like, ugh,
see, I've
fake.
seen more anime than people who've watched anime in their entire life. I've seen, like, over, like, 200 to 300 anime in this amount of time.
I don't even know. Yeah, but, like, this is my thing. Like, I don't even know how someone who's like, I've been watching anime since I was a zygote, and I don't think many people could say that. I was just in the womb, chilling, just a multicellular organism working at it, and I'm like, shut up.
Like, there shouldn't be no time date for your validation of, like, being a fan of something.
Well, especially, like I'm 19, and And when I say, like, I've been an anime fan for maybe, like, 5 years, that means I got into it when I was, like, 14.
Yeah.
And people are like, that should be a good age. But people are like, 5 years? Why not 20? Like, okay. If I could go back in time and fix that, I would. I don't get that, but, I mean, it happens. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, I know you watch anime like crazy. But, yeah, I agree with you. Fullmetal Alchemist is probably just one of the... I don't know how you can't love the brothers.
They're so adorable.
So, you mentioned role-playing, and one of the things I thought was really interesting about your cosplay that I don't think we see a lot of people talk about is people who actually role-play while they're in cosplay. Like, you know, get into character and go to conventions and act like the character versus just wearing the cosplay.
Yeah.
So what is that? Do you think that there's a really big difference when you act like the character?
There is a big difference, because sometimes I'll see, like, someone cosplaying a character, and they're not acting like the character, and it kind of takes you out of the moment, almost. Because for me, to like a cosplay, I'm like, I kind of want them to act like the character. Of course, I still act like myself, but I also, if someone's trying to talk to me, or I talk to someone new, I'm always acting like Juvia. Like, especially if I see, like, a Grey, I'm like, Grey someone! Like, go chase them. Or I'm hiding behind a corner watching them. I'm acting like the character. And I think it's good because it puts you in the shoes of the character and it shows how much you're really dedicated to the side character.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's like, it's almost like when you go to Disneyland. I know that's a weird thing. When you go to Disneyland and you meet the princesses and they're like super awesome, and you know, it's that moment of just like bringing a character to life. Yeah. And I think anime conventions is where you get to bring anime characters to life. What helps you stay in character when you're like, I mean, because conventions go from like start of dawn to like end of the night.
I know, sometimes I don't even eat or drink anything like all day at conventions. I just get distracted. Like, me and my friend do not eat or drink all day, and it's like, where am I? And like, by the night I'm just like tired and I just like pass out. What helps me stay in character is, especially since I roleplay Juvia online, it kind of helps me a bit. You know, seeing a Grey really helps, or any other fairy tale character, because you're like, okay, this is my moment. Which you see a good amount of Natsus like everywhere, whether they're gender bent or just regular Natsu. And it helps you be like, okay, I have to remember I'm cosplaying Juvia to act like Juvia. So, you know, you go in third person, which helps me a lot, is just to constantly talk in third person even when I'm not cosplaying Juvia. So sometimes even when I'm talking to people, I'll be like, Becca wants to do this, and people are like, oh, you're insane. And I'm like, thank you. It's hard, especially with her being like talking in third person. You have to like make sure you stick with that, right? Or the character's like completely just like falls on the floor.
Yeah, Juvia is a really interesting character in general. I think what showed me a lot about Juvia was like when you see her room and it's just filled to the brim with Grey stuffies, and you're like, okay, I get it. But then you have these moments where she's just this like empowering person. Yeah. What got you into this character in particular?
So when I first started watching it, you know, you come across Juvia as this, like, cold rain woman, and she goes to Grey, and you see that part where she's, like, you know, just standing there, and she sees Grey, and her cheeks just turn all pink and blushy, and she's like, I'll be on my way, and she just leaves, but, like, Grey's like, wait, where are you going? Like, I just thought that was awesome. I think that's what captured me to her, was how she's, like, perceived as this cold woman, but, like, this one person could just make her entire life change, and she could be happy and see the sun again. And I thought that was freaking awesome to see, like, someone can have such an impact on you, especially just having her, you know, obviously the girl had, like, depression.
Oh, yeah.
And was freaking abused by an ex-boyfriend. Like, it's awesome to see her not only gain love from him, but also kind of from herself by making other friends in Fairy Tail. Like, she's close with Kana in that moment where she protected Kana from Freed and, like, sacrificed herself. I mean, she's made out of water and got shocked by lightning, which is very painful. So I thought that was really great of her as a character to actually not only just like this one guy, but actually be into everyone else at the same time.
Yeah, and I think people misunderstand a lot of fairy tale women. Yeah. Because, I mean, you know, a lot of times I hear people be like, oh, well, she's there for fan service. I'm like, no, she's not. Like, just if you paid attention, you weren't just staring at one particular aspect of her. No. And by aspect, I mean Juvia's legs.
Oh, God. Juvia's legs. I can write a novel. Oh.
Juvia's beautiful. But seriously.
Her legs.
I just broke Becca. She's died.
I love her legs.
She's so pretty.
But going back to that, like, fan service thing, that's how people treat Lucy. And that really irritates me, because Lucy's one of the strongest people. I mean, if you were in that situation, like, some of the situations Juvia's been into, like, not Juvia, Lucy. Lucy's been into, the girl is, like, more normal, quote-unquote normal, than everyone else. And if you're put into a situation like that, like, you're gonna probably cry, too. Lucy only cries because she's human. That shows she's human, and it always bothers me that she's either there for fan service or she doesn't even matter because she's a crybaby or whatever it is. It just makes no sense to me.
I mean, to me, most of the time, Lucy feels like the main character versus, like, one of them. You know, like, so if your main character was there for fan service, you wouldn't have a surviving anime or manga or anything. Like, the story just wouldn't work. Mm-hmm. And I think that happens a lot with Juvia too, because you see her fawn over Gray, but I don't think that that's something meant for fan service. I've always perceived it as that's just her finding something that she loves, like, you know, even if it's another person. And so I don't know, I never really thought of her as fan service, really, even though she acts almost like maybe she could have been, like, which is what people always perceive. But I don't know, she's a very strong character. So you said earlier you were talking about how you've made a lot of friends through Fairy Tail. That's the anime that's helped you, and you roleplay online too as well. Mm-hmm. What kind of what brought you to, like, literate RP, and, like, where do you do that, and, you know, sorry, hold on, let me rephrase that. Where do you do it? What brought you to literate RP? Like, do you do it on Tumblr, right?
Yes, I go on Tumblr and I roleplay on there. First, I started on, like, one of those, like, cheesy quiz websites where, like, you could write your own story, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Because I was into role-playing before I was into anime. Fun fact.
Okay.
I was into, like, I'm not going to say what it was. I was just into role-playing online.
Alright, I won't ask.
It's embarrassing, I'm not going to go into it. But so before I was into anime...
Oh, well. Sorry. So before you were into anime...
So before I was into anime, I was role-playing already. And then I found Tumblr, and I was like...
My life was ruined.
Yeah, my life went, like, down the drain, and, like, I was trashed with the rest of the Tumblr users. And I first started off... Juvia wasn't my first roleplay on Tumblr either. I started off with Haruhi Fujioka from House Club.
I love her.
And I had a blast with her, but then I realized I wasn't, like, she just wasn't the character for me. And then I saw Fairy Tail, and I just fell in love with Juvia, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna roleplay Juvia. So I made a Juvia vlog, and it actually has over almost 2,000 followers, actually. Yeah.
If I could whistle, I'd be whistling, but I can't. It's like a gust of air. And does that help you with, like, when you do cosplay, because you're, I wouldn't say continuously, but, like, you continue to roleplay online outside of it?
Yeah, it helps because you get into the character, so then when the convention comes, you're like, oh, I got this. I already roleplayed the character. I know what to do.
So you have this personal connection with this character, and, you know, you identify with her, right? Do you identify with the other two characters that you're playing on cosplaying?
Yes. Usually when I plan my cosplays, I have, like, a long list, but the Diane and Ruby are just my ones in the process. So everyone I'm gonna cosplay is like me in some aspect. Juvia is a lot like me, and everyone even tells me, oh, you're a lot like Juvia. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing sometimes. Just I worry about that. But Diane from Nanatsu no Taizai 7 Deadly Sins, she's just really like, yeah, but then, you know, someone does something and she's like, no, and she just gets angry. And I'm like, that's me. And then Ruby's very childish, and she's very like, let's do this. And then she's like, but she's also very awkward and introverted at the same time, which is a lot like me.
I love both of those characters. I already just wrote about Diane. I was like, I'm gonna fangirl all over Diane. She's so important.
She's so cute.
She's so important. I can't stress enough how important Diane is. And Ruby she makes your day.
Yeah.
You can't hate Ruby. So what's your favorite, like, for Juvia? What's your favorite scene or quote from that character that made you identify with her?
My favorite scene from her, not identifying with her, but more just, actually a little bit of identifying. The part where she's fighting Meredy in the one arc, Tenro Island, there we go. She was fighting Meredy, and, she had to, figure out a way to stop Meredy, because Meredy's magic has to do with linking, pain together. And so, Juvia, punched her own leg or hit her leg so hard that it, I'm pretty sure it broke. Mm-hmm. And she did that to bring Meredy down as well. So I thought that was really cool because she sacrificed a part of her in order to stop this one villain from destroying everything. And I can relate to that a lot because to help other people, I'll do sacrifice something of myself to help someone.
Yeah, you're always a sweetheart like that. I'm just I know Becca, she does this all the time. So I think we're pretty much finishing up. So I have 2 last questions for you, and then I have a fairy tale quiz that I have not sent you. So you're gonna have to guess. But before we start that, what are your hopes for future cosplayers, and what advice do you have to give future cosplayers, people who are starting to think about cosplaying?
Well, for the community, I want there to be more acceptance. I want there to be, you can do whatever you want. I mean, we're all there to have fun. We're all weebs in freaking costumes, We're all...
we're all neats.
So it's you're just there to enjoy yourself, and I think that's important. And I want that community to grow more and grow more accepting, so maybe we can even have an impact on society, but we'll get there one step at a time. But to future cosplayers, don't let anyone discourage you. You do you, boo, is one of my favorite lines. I say that all the time now, and it's literally just do you. Don't let anyone else bring you down. You want to wear those tight shorts and the little crop top like Misty from Pokemon, do it. Who cares about your size? Who cares if you're a size 0 or a size 20? Do what you want. You do you. And that's so important in a community that's already supposed to be accepting enough compared to others. And I think all you need to do is focus on yourself and to find those friends in the community that support you enough and that you have fun with, and always just be yourself and have fun. That's the most important thing about cosplay.
Are you ready for this quiz?
No.
Pop quiz on fairy tale characters, since you're known for Juvia.
When I said I was one of the biggest fans, I kind of regret that now, because
you regret saying this now. You're hey gosh, Ashley, I really love fairy tale. I'm do you really though? Do you really?
I'm get everything wrong.
It's okay. It's all right. I'll keep tabs. Okay. So question number 1: who is the first master of fairy tale?
Okay, are we going back to fairy tale?
The very
the
beginning.
Very first guild
very
master.
Beginning.
Was it Mavis?
Yep, correct. Okay, how old is Grey-sama?
Oh my god, I didn't even know they had ages.
No one does. Anime is just eternal. Yeah, we don't know.
They don't age in anime. Who ages in anime? You never see someone get older unless it's freaking, I don't even know, Erased or something, that new anime.
Alright, I'm gonna just guess then.
19, 18.
Yeah, 18, correct.
Yeah,
oh my
I
god.
knew it. Because Juvia's younger, I think.
Yeah, I think she's 17.
Yeah, she's younger.
Okay.
Oh, she's my age.
Where is Fairy Tale's location?
Magnolia?
Magnolia. Yeah, correct. Alright, who was enslaved as a child and is known as the Dancing Demon?
Ooh. Enslaved as a child and known as the Dancing Demon. I know this one.
Hashtag Bae.
Hashtag Bae?
Hashtag Bae. That's
Hashtag
my...
Bae. Enslaved as
a child.
How many people in Fairy Tale are enslaved as a child, though?
Dancing Demon.
Urza?
Correct. Okay, so, in which episode did Grey first appear?
It wasn't episode 1. Was it 2?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's a giveaway. What's Natsu's last name?
Dragnail.
Correct. Which key? I'm gonna make you cry with this one. Which key did Lucy have to sacrifice?
Oh! Aquarius.
And everybody in the fandom just went, why would you say that?
It's one of those things, like, it's like a forbidden rule. You don't talk about it. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club.
We don't talk about Aquarius.
We don't talk about Aquarius.
Alright, if you thought Gray's age was hard, get ready for this one. How old is Magrav?
Oh, he actually has an age.
He actually has an age. Mavis is like eternally young, but then Magrav.
Old fart. Is he older than 100?
No.
Okay, figured. 80-ish?
Close. 88. 88, closer to 90, but
I knew
that's okay. That's ages, again, anime, how can you tell? Okay, who was thought to be dead and turned out to be alive? Unfortunately, in my opinion. This is where I lose viewers.
Are we talking about an Exceed?
Mm-hmm.
Lecter?
I was going for Lizana.
Oh, we're going to Lizana.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of freaking Lecter. Because technically Lecter was, everyone thought Lecter is dead too.
That's true. No, that is true, but I was going for more Lizana. Okay.
I call her lasagna.
Wait, she does. I don't know how...
Lasagna.
Who sat there and was like, ah yes, Lizana.
Lasagna. They had lasagna for dinner. I think that was the thing.
Okay, and which guild? Here's the Juvia question. Which guild was Juvia a part of before Fairy Tail?
Phantom Lord?
Yes. Congrats. Okay.
I knew that one easily.
I know, I was looking for this, if I question her just solely on Juvia, she's gonna do the whole entire thing right. And then it's just not gonna be entertaining. Ages was what we got. Okay, so.
Ages is what got me.
Alright, well, I want to thank you so much for being here. And
thank you for having me.
So if you guys want to check out where Becca's at all the time, or stalk her, whatever. If you guys want to stalk Becca, you can find her at Tumblr at beccaboopsyournose.tumblr.com or her Juvia Tumblr, which is juvichan.tumblr.com. Also, she has an Instagram, which is beccaboopsyou at Instagram. You can find her through that. I want to thank you guys for joining us today. And make sure to check out Blackmore Productions and Geekery Gears for more vlogs. And we hope to see you guys here next month. Just remember to swim against the current.